Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Conversations with Anne Marie. I am Anne Marie, the Art of Healing. Today, I have the pleasure of having a conversation with a very dear friend. I've known her for a few years now, and she has become an integral part of my healing journey and really quite a dear friend. Her name is Antoinette Fiumos. She has been a 5-element Taoist acupuncturist for over 30 years. And as of late, she has become a channel and a spiritual mentor. So without further ado, I welcome my dear friend, Antoinette Fiumos, to Conversations with Anne Marie. And welcome, sweetheart.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Anne Marie, for having me. It's a real honor to be part of your healing journey and to meet all of your friends that follow you. I know they love you and admire you, and I love and admire you as well. So thank you for having me.
Well, it's mutual. It's so mutual. So when exactly did we meet? I mean, I've known you through our spiritual community with both Tina Spalding and Carol Morgan.
Right.
But we met, when did we meet for the first time in person? I'm trying to remember.
Maybe in 2020 in Sedona, Arizona at a retreat.
We did meet in Sedona. That's right. I think that was the first time we met. So it was, yes, it was pre-COVID. And it was the first time I was in Sedona, and you were there.
Yeah.
You channeled the being that you channel, and we're going to talk about this being kind of towards the latter part of our interview. But first and foremost, what I always ask people who come on my show, how did you start out in terms of your spirituality? Was it always a part of your life, or did you kind of grow into it?
Well, you let me know that you would be asking me this question. So I've been thinking about it. And, the real answer is that I've always been a spiritual seeker, so to speak. And I tell people that when I was young, I used to ask my mom and my dad every day, why am I the way I am? And I really wanted them to answer my question. And they didn't have a lot of answers, but they tried to find answers for me. We went to bookshops. I collected rocks and crystals. We went out in nature and collected leaves, and they were working with me to try to figure it out through nature.
So you said to your parents, why am I the way that I am? So how did you feel that you were different than everybody else?
It was a deep feeling inside first. And then secondly, the most interesting thing was I could see all the things that were going on behind closed doors on the street in which we lived. So I could see parents of my friends having affairs. I could see them drinking too much beer or wine or whatever. I could see them fighting. Mostly I saw the darker side of things. And, I told my friends, I'm 7 years old. Hey, your dad's meeting this woman at the corner in the church parking lot. Did you know? And and it became a little bit of an unwieldy gift. So I didn't keep it going all the time.
Wow. I did not know that about you. That's incredible. So would you consider that to be an intuitive thing, or was it a clairvoyant thing, or maybe a combination of both?
Probably both. And, I didn't really have words for it, and my parents didn't have any definitions or labels. I just told them, and then they were, embarrassed and trying to, they weren't shaming me for it. It's just something that I would report back to them about.
Mom, Dad, guess what he's doing?
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh
it
my
was
goodness.
interesting.
That's very interesting. Now, did you keep this gift with you? Did it continue or did it fade away eventually? I've heard that with a lot of people.
Yeah, it faded away.
Mhm.
It ended up not being like a great thing to be able to tell your like 8-year-old friend, 10-year-old friend what was going on with their parents.
Oh my gosh.
So I just sort of shut it down.
Mm.
And then when I became a teenager, I went and did other things that were more like self-destructive as opposed to destroying other people's lives by
Oh,
telling them about their parents' problems and whatnot.
so
So,
what was this self-destruction that you got yourself into?
well, again, part of my spiritual journey, I was just really kind of bored, if you will, with what I saw that I was creating. To the outside world. It looked like a lot of success and fun and, popularity and typical high school, middle school kind of good, positive things. But I
Mhm.
wanted to see what else was possible to do with a life. So I created an eating disorder for myself
Wow.
and wanted to see what that would create.
Hmm.
And it was not the most loving thing to do to myself,
Hmm.
but it took me very deep into my spiritual nature.
Interesting.
And
I'm very in it admire how you explain
thank you.
that you created for yourself this contrast. So you've got
Mhm,
this beautiful side, and then you've got this very dark and dangerous side to
mhm,
that. Did you when you were going through it,
mhm.
did you see it as that, or is this just, the Antoinette that's looking back and seeing the reasons why things happened to you? How did you
Well,
see it while you were going through it?
it's a great question. Uh, what I had the skill to be able to do at the time
Mm.
was to leave my body and look down at what I was doing and observe and watch
Wow.
and to see from a higher perspective what I was getting myself involved in.
My goodness.
Yeah. So I have a few memories of really looking from above and seeing what I was creating.
Was that something that happened spontaneously? So let's say I'm hearing, I just heard somebody just recently talk about this very thing. Like all of a sudden you're in the middle of something and then boom, there you are looking above. Is that
Mhm.
what you went through?
Uh, yes, it,
Wow.
it would be more like spontaneous, like
Yes, yes,
bloop,
spontaneous. Yep, there
like
you are.
up and out of the body and looking down. And it doesn't hurt or anything like that. It just a moment.
Wow, fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you still have that skill?
I don't do that anymore. I
Mm.
have specifically untrained myself to do that so I could stay present in my human body that I occupy now so that I can do the work that I do now.
Very fair. Wow, that's very fascinating. So pretty much you came in as somebody obviously attuned to other aspects of our reality that most everybody are not in tune
Hmm.
with.
Right.
Very, very fascinating. Very
Yes.
fascinating.
Yes.
I've been looking at my videos lately. I say fascinating a lot and I say beautiful a lot. And I've got to stop saying those things because I'm looking very, very like robotish.
Well, you'll come up
Very
with new
fascinating.
words.
I've got to go to a thesaurus or whatever it is and
Right.
check out some different words for mind blowing. Okay, mind blowing. Wow, that's real mind blowing. Oh my goodness. Okay. So well, let's move forward a little bit in your little timeline as to who you are and where did you encounter um, your healing the healing modality that you practice in terms of acupuncture. How did that enter into your life?
Sure. So in my 20s, I went to college a couple of times. I was looking for ways to satisfy my curiosities and my spiritual destiny. I studied nutrition science. I thought I would use my eating disorder and learn about nutrition and try to heal myself through a college degree and then a profession. That didn't work. So then I went on to try other things. They didn't work. I got married a couple of times. I had two beautiful children who I adore, Tanya and Marisa.
Mhm.
And then in my early 30s, I think I was 31 actually, I was a specialty food broker, and part of what made us successful was we would set up food displays in stores
Hmm.
for the people who bought the food from us. And it was like biscotti and chocolates and things like that. It was pretty food and fun food. And my wrists started becoming very, very pained because of all the heavy lifting. So I was also in a marriage. I was very unhappy. And I went to a therapist, and she said to me, now, I want you to do a couple of things that are really weird. I want you to go to study Siddha Yoga in South Fallsburg, New York. I had no idea what that meant, but I did everything she said because I wanted to get better. And then she said, I want you to go to acupuncture. And I said, okay, but I don't even know what acupuncture is. And so I studied Siddha Yoga with Swami Muktananda and his predecessor. And I went to acupuncture with a woman named Betsy Baker, who became one of my mentors. And in one session, my wrists were healed. And at the second session, a huge energy came over me and said, this is what you're going to do for a career. And it's going to take you a long time and it's going to be a lot of work, but you can do it. You've been to college a couple times, you didn't figure it out, you can go again, you'll figure it out. And that I was 31 and I began the journey.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fascinating. And I say
Yeah.
it again because it really is. It
Thank you.
really is. Wow.
Mhm.
Beautiful. And that took you were working up in the Northeast, I guess.
Yeah, Washington, D.C., Baltimore area.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it took me a couple years to get to the point where I could go to acupuncture school. Back then, you had to become a massage therapist first and work in a hospital and such,
Mhm,
take a lot of prerequisite coursework.
mhm.
But then I went to acupuncture school in Columbia, Maryland.
That's wonderful. Um, in this journey of acupuncture, how did this tie into spirituality at that point? Did
Mhm.
you become a Taoist, or how did that
Mhm.
work?
Uh, I went to the Traditional Acupuncture Institute, which was rooted in teaching us the Tao, which is a form of unified consciousness.
Mhm,
And it's taught by recognizing how energy moves through the cycle of the seasons, for example, in like a 12-month cycle.
yes.
So you study what it means to be a water person, wood person, fire, earth, or metal, and all about the nature's elemental components. And then I was taught how those show up in the human body as our energy body, as our set of meridians, which is like our light system.
Mm.
And that's where all of the acupuncture points lie. And every point treats on the body level, the mind level, and the spirit level. And some points treat even deeper than that. They go right to the soul and they transform your mind, help you undo limiting beliefs, help you undo blocks to moving into higher levels of consciousness. Taoist 5-element acupuncture is a real broad and deep and spiritual modality.
That's beautiful. When did the Course in Miracles come into your life?
In 2009, I was working with a client of mine, and she was telling me about this book that I had to read.
Mhm.
I had to go get it right away. At the end of the day, I should go and get it. And so I was going to go and get it at the end of the day. And I got in my car, but on the roof of my car was the book in a bag. She had purchased it for me.
Wow, that's nice.
I know. And it was Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard.
Mhm.
And in that book, he talks a lot about how the Course in Miracles influenced his life. And from there, I chose to become a student of A Course in Miracles by reading that book.
Beautiful. What contrast did that provide you? Because you were going from an Eastern philosophy into the Course in Miracles to something brought forth by Christ, so by Jesus, I should say, right?
Right. Well, first of all, let me say I don't have a religious education.
Okay.
So I
Interesting.
didn't really realize that it was a channeled book, a transcribed book.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that Helen Schuckman, the woman who transcribed the course or scribed the course, she didn't transcribe the course, she scribed it, she channeled it. I didn't realize at the time that that was the voice of Jesus that she was bringing through. And honestly, the book was like gobbledygook to me, and I couldn't get that there was Christianity woven within it. But what I did get was this amazing vibrational attunement.
Oh,
So,
describe it. Describe that. What happened?
sure. Well, acupuncture could be considered a vibrational medicine, crystals, homeopathy, herbal essences. They're all like attune your energy, they change your vibration. So
Mhm.
just holding the book and reading the words they have like a Shakespearean rhythm to them, an iambic pentameter, and I could feel a transformative kind of healing vibration moving through me, even though I didn't understand what the words were.
I am stopping myself from saying fascinating or beautiful. And that's so unfair for me, but I'm all right. I'll get through it. So
Funny.
continue now. So you're with A Course in Miracles. And when did you encounter Tina?
So I'm so gifted with all of these clients. Another client came to me, and well, first of all, let me say that after receiving that book and getting started on A Course in Miracles, there were several clients that I felt would really benefit by reading the course. So I had suggested that to many people actually.
Mm.
And one person in particular, he and I were studying the course together. I was studying it with all these different clients. And he said to me, "You have got to follow this woman. Her name is Tina Spalding. She's got one or two videos. You just have to start watching them." Honestly, Anne-Marie, I didn't even know what YouTube was.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, well, how do I do it? And he said, you have to get YouTube. I'm like, okay, I don't even know what an app is. I'll get an app. And I started watching her, and just like carrying around A Course in Miracles or reading the words that didn't make sense to me, I could feel a vibrational attunement
Mhm.
just by being in the presence of what she was bringing through, and I could understand it.
Mhm. Wow.
And that was in 2015. So I carried around the book for 6 years before I
Encountered Tina.
started understanding it through Tina.
Okay. All right. Beautiful.
Mhm.
And that kind of brings you into, I guess, where we kind of intertwined a little bit with each
Yes.
other.
Mhm.
And you actually began channeling
Mhm.
because of your work with Tina. Is that correct?
Yes. I did some mentoring with Tina. I was
Oh,
very gifted and blessed to have the opportunity to spend many hours with her and to receive the guidance that she brought to me through Ananda, her guides and teachers,
mhm,
and herself. She's a gifted healer in and of herself.
mhm.
And that began in 2016 through private sessions and then uh, mentoring. And I think I met you through uh, Carol Morgan and Carol Morgan's work
Okay.
on Spirit Led. You and I did a channeling uh, session together, hosted by Carol, I believe, on her site.
That
And
goes to show
maybe,
you, my memory is shot. I don't remember anything. And it's oh good. I'm glad we did.
yeah, I think that was in 2018 or 19, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
I
Yep. So yeah,
remember
so then
you.
we actually met through Carol's group,
Yes,
but we also coincided with Tina's group. That's right.
yes, yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah,
All right, good, good, good.
yeah.
Um, Now, before we go on to who you channel at this point, I want to
Mhm.
talk a little bit about um, kind of some of the struggles that you've
Sure,
been through, because
sure.
you were very vulnerable with us at this one particular retreat in Sedona.
Mhm.
And I appreciated it very, very much. Um, I can, I'm curious about one particular struggle that you've gone through, because we don't need to get, too nitty gritty about things. And it relates with me personally because of my uh, selling my house.
Mhm.
Okay. And that is, uh, you went through an astonishing, uh, an astonishing journey with homes, let's with houses. Okay. And I'd
Right.
like you to kind of like talk to us about what you went through. I'm not going to give anything away. And what I want from you is how you personally feel towards homes and places, because I'm going through this kind of like, do I have a house? Do I not have a house? What's going on?
Mhm.
Where do I fit in? Kind of thing. So I'd love for you to talk to us about all of that, because it's really, really, really interesting.
Oh, sure, I'd be happy to. Thank you for asking me to do that.
Mhm.
So, let me say this. I grew up in Los Angeles County, very close to and near the San Andreas Fault. So,
Wow.
um, I've lived in houses that shake and crack and
Ooh.
sway since I was born.
Hmm.
So, and I have some housing karma. I have some destiny work to do around housing.
Okay.
And I believe that a lot of us do because we cling to our homes and we cling to our belongings. Um, so, uh, fast forwarding to the time that I believe you're talking about,
Mhm.
I'll speak a little bit about what led up to that time.
Okay.
So, in the mid 2000s, I owned a healing arts facility in Columbia, Maryland, and I sold it. And I remained working there. And it was a very bad decision on my part, but I did it. And a woman uh, created kind of a dark energy thing and sort of gassed me out of there.
Wow.
Yes. So that gives you kind of a taste of what I've experienced with regard to housing and space and office. The
Hmm.
office I moved to a year later burnt down.
Hmm.
So that was devastating. My practice never really recouped itself. Well, it did recoup itself, but it took me about 10 years to get to a place of being recouped.
Hmm.
And then, so I had that experience of, losing a lot and losing files and materials and just a place that felt so good to be at.
Hmm.
And then I had a house. I lived in Florida, and I had a house that uh, got destroyed a few times by rogue winds, winds that blew uh, pieces of metal into the roof. One time the roof got stabbed by a coconut, and it was a metal roof, and then it just leaked and black mold took hold in the place, on and on with that. Then another time living in a different place in Florida, uh, a hurricane came and basically destroyed it.
Hmm.
And all of our stuff in it, it was really devastating. It was to live through that uh, is indescribable. People who go through that, I really learned what I'm attached to and what I can let go of. And I came to live up in New Jersey where we had another little tiny home while that house was being rebuilt so that we could sell it. And while I was up there, the lower level of that got completely destroyed by black mold.
Oh.
And all of my personal memorabilia was destroyed. All of my children's art and their photos, my family
No.
memories, all of my uh, professional degree certificates, everything that I thought meant something was gone because it was stored there.
So
So,
how did the black mold, do you know how the black mold got into the house?
yep, we were renting it out and somebody left the water on in that lower level and it was neglected and then
Oh no.
everything got taken over by mold and penicillin. So,
Wow.
long story short, I really learned after several times of losing
Hmm.
everything that uh, I had an idolizing problem. I idolized houses. I idolized locations. I still struggle with this. I idolized stuff.
Hmm.
And what I came to realize is that stuff doesn't matter. Where you live doesn't matter. I still struggle with that. Sequel, the being I channel, tells me, it doesn't matter where I am. What matters is that I remember who I am.
Hmm. Hmm.
And since I've been asking, who am I since the beginning of my life,
Uh-huh.
here I am more toward the end. I'm still looking at it doesn't matter where I am and it doesn't matter what I have. During that hurricane, I lost my really cool hybrid car. It got completely totaled. Now I bought a Subaru Outback. It's
Hmm.
fine. Whatever. Um,
Right, right.
so yes, it
That's
was
well, in the
interesting.
when you started to, this last little bit of description about being attached to things, I was getting a light language. So
Okay.
it's obviously something that I need to listen to also and try
Hmm.
to figure it out. It's a struggle because
Hmm.
we're here on this earth. We've
Right.
grown up in the society that we've grown into that uh, puts value on homes and possessions. And so it's really a hard lesson. It's really a hard struggle
Yes.
because, you know, it's not a bad thing to have possessions. It's just, you've got to learn, I guess, that detachment,
Right.
that real detachment against your things, because in a hurricane, everything can be gone. In a leak, everything could be gone, right? I
Yep.
mean, uh,
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yes.
Yeah, my ego still fights with that a lot,
Hmm.
a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot.
I'm right there with you. I understand completely. My heart goes out to you and to everyone who, realizes that there's, some attachment to stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and how much we idolize our homes and our clothing and our cars and our jewelry. And,
It's
you
very
know,
true.
we don't, it really is true. You don't take it with you. And yet we can enjoy it while we're here.
Yeah,
And so what I'm learning is the difference between idolizing and enjoying.
right.
Like I don't have to
Yeah,
have it, but I can enjoy it.
yeah. I've you and I have talked about this, and probably, in my healing journey, I think the real core of that, the core trauma was, leaving the house, and the way that I left my house in New York, and the toll that it took on my body, because it was a very kind of like a violent separation between
Mhm.
something that was very, I used to look at my house as, consistent with my own journey, coming from disaster, from cracked plaster and leaky windows, to a very beautiful home. And like for me, going from being suicidal and not, having all my beliefs shattered in my life, and bringing me into this state that I am now, and being whole and all this. So wow, lots of things to work through, right? These
Yes,
little
yes,
these 3D lives that we decided to come into, they're not easy for
right.
anybody. And
No,
people looking at me, or in my case, me looking at you and thinking, oh, look, she's so petite and cute and beautiful, and she channels this incredible being, but there's no one's on a pedestal. We're
no
all
one.
in struggle, you know,
Yes,
we are all in
yes,
struggle.
we are.
Yeah.
We
Do
are.
you want to add anything to that? Because you're a very wise woman. Do you want to add anything to that in terms of struggle in your life, or, for anybody to hear? And
Sure. I love it's a Chinese kind of term. Crisis is the same word as opportunity.
mm,
Every crisis we go through is an opportunity for healing, and it's all in how we look at it. And that's all well and good to say and to remember, but it's hard to recall that when you're in the thick of a crisis, when you're in that moment when, like you were, where you were selling this home that was your sanctuary, that was symbolic of your personal transformation.
mhm,
Everything in this 3D world symbolizes something if we look at it from that higher spiritual point of view.
mhm,
So, that home provided you with so much healing opportunity, but yet you had to leave it. Otherwise, it would have turned into a crisis. So, it goes both ways. Opportunity can become crisis, and crisis can become opportunity. And it's that line that we meet where we can transform our minds and open our minds to look at things differently.
mhm.
And, I really want to support you and everyone else who might, want to take the time to shift their perception and look at things differently. I want to encourage people to do that because there's a gift in everything. There really is. I don't mean to sound Pollyanna like but it's true. There's a
It
gift in
is.
everything.
Yeah. One of the first encounters I had with a spirit was when I was 14, and
Mm.
my cousin was a medium, and she was channeling this spirit, and we were doing a Ouija board. It was like all sorts of
Oh.
no. But that was the one thing that he said. He said, Anne Marie, out of every bad thing comes a good.
Ah,
And I've never forgotten that, ever, ever, ever.
oh,
Never
that's
forgotten it. So you're bringing that in to my memory again.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, I want to know all about this being that you channel and how he came into your life. And I will let you describe and just tell everybody all about
Okay.
it.
So his name is Ezekiel. He identifies as a him or male because we, like in this 3D world, want to have identifiers and
Right.
labels. It makes things more understandable. And he gave me the name Ezekiel to call him. He's an Andromedan being. He's from the planet Xenon, for a name for us to
Hmm.
give to the planet that he occupied
Yeah.
uh, in the Andromedan galaxy when that planet in Andromeda was three-dimensional.
Hmm.
He has since evolved into a ninth dimensional being, and part of his evolutionary path has been sped up by coming and being
Helping
with
us.
humans
Yeah.
and helping us.
Hmm.
So that says a lot about the power of us
Wow.
as humans.
Wow.
We have the power to transform uh, other dimensional beings, and they have the power to heal and transform us. And I met him in uh, December of 18 and began channeling him in January of 19.
How did you meet him? Were you at the grocery store and here comes this blue being? No. Oh, I
um,
just met him. I met him. We met.
right,
We met.
right. We started walking hand in
Yeah.
hand in the bread aisle. Well, I was sitting in a dark room. That probably had something to do with it. Now, let me back up. I had taken a class with a lovely woman who has since crossed over, Fran Narwicki. She had given me some lessons, so to speak. They were meditations
Mhm.
about how to shift your energy body so that you could open yourself up to channeling. I
Mhm.
had really wanted to do that and had sought her out. And so she and I were working together. And so I was sitting in a dark room waiting for my acupuncturist to call me in for a session. And so it was very quiet. I was the only one in there. There weren't any lights. And I had been waking up every day at 6 a.m. doing this meditation and practicing and asking for spirit to come. And I had been getting some various messages, but that day, at that time, Ezekiel came in and introduced himself, and it was a visceral feeling of him kind of sweeping in.
Wow.
And I was talking out loud to myself in the room, but I don't really remember what I said.
Hmm.
Um, I maybe was doing the meditation out loud, and then he came through.
Hmm.
And what he said through me, I don't recall either, except that he introduced himself. And I was aware of kind of a portal opening in the heavenly realms
Mhm.
being opened, like a stargate being opened. And I was given a special tool that looked kind of like a chevron. Now, this is me up in the heavenly realms. This isn't me sitting in the chair in the
Oh.
waiting room. This is the me who went to the heavenly realms to walk through that gate with him, the me who I really am.
Mhm. Your real essence.
Yes.
You received a tool, like a
Yes,
chevron?
like a light, a vibrating piece of light that was shaped like this. And I was told by a guide named Jeremiah to place it like over this gateway, this stargate, and then that would be open and the gateway would be safe to move through. And then Ezekiel and I would have high frequency, positive, loving communication. And that's because when I was little, I'd had all that dark communication of all the
Mm-hmm.
dark stuff going on. So this was very high frequency light gateway.
Yeah. My goodness. I found something else to say. Okay. My goodness. Okay, so now you're in this acupuncturist's room, right?
Mhm.
Office, waiting to
Mhm.
get it worked on you. And then the door opens, your acupuncturist comes in, and what happened? I mean, what was the minutes like that after?
I told her what happened and I asked her if she channeled during our sessions and she said no. She was a great mentor to me, Nikki Bilton. She's a fabulous Taoist five element teacher.
Mhm.
And she was very kind and gentle and accepting of my experience. And she went on to treat me. And I went home and then I think I freaked out a little bit,
Yeah.
but I don't remember. I think I was too freaked out. Honestly, I don't even think I really knew what Andromeda was, to be honest, at that
Mhm.
point.
Mhm.
I really don't think I knew what it was.
And is this Andromeda galaxy or Andromeda universe? Because I know that there's another universe, not like
He
the
says he says the Andromedan galaxy, like the
galaxy.
one that's close to our galaxy that
Okay,
we can see in our skies.
got it. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for
Hmm.
clarifying that. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
thanks for asking.
So what has this relationship, how did it grow and flourish, and what is his role in your life right now?
Uh, well, he and I were both new to this kind of thing. I had never been a channel, and he had never come to assist humans. So we spent a year of human time, I call it, getting to know each other and building our own confidence.
Mhm.
And I brought him through to like that group when I channeled with you
Mhm.
and to a couple of friends. And he also spent a year with me in the treatment room as an acupuncturist, meeting the humans. He was there, he was observing and watching and uh,
Hmm.
learning a lot about the human condition. Um, Through the mentoring I did with Tina, I didn't realize that I was always channeling as an acupuncturist because I had always been calling on this being named Dr. Sue, who identified himself as a spiritual teacher, and he was an acupuncturist, but from the heavenly realm. And he was always helping me in the treatment room. So Ezekiel and Dr. Sue and I would work together, like as a triad. It was very interesting and very depthful. And that went on for 3 years before I started doing the full channeling.
Okay. And I'm sorry that my mind is just a little blown right there. Um, what do you feel? Is Ezekiel always present with you? Do you have to call him in? What is that relationship like?
He says that we need to ask him. We have free will and to ask him. So I'm consistently asking for
Okay.
Jesus and Ananda and Ezekiel to be with me.
Mhm.
They're my three go-to guides in the sky, so to speak. I also like to work with Archangel Raphael. And but I'm always asking because I want to be aware that that's important, that we need to ask for help. And I know that higher realm beings are coming in at this time to help us, even if we're not asking, because humanity needs all the help that we can get. But I'm also asking, so it's a double ask.
Double ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Amazing. Just absolutely amazing. And what is, and you said now are you doing full-time channeling? Are you doing acupuncture? What is happening with you at this time?
So since COVID in 2020, I decided to leave the in-person treatment room because I didn't want to have to wear a mask and do all of the medical adjustments required to work one-on-one with
Mhm,
people. I
mhm,
felt like that would be a real impediment for me to provide the healing that I know that people really need.
mhm,
So from the point of view of really believing that everyone is capable of healing themselves, I have moved into, as an acupuncturist, teaching people how to use the gift of their light body and their acupuncture points to treat themselves. So about 50-50, I'm full-time, 50% teaching people that and 50% channeling. And with you, I'm teaching you all about the light body and the acupuncture points and helping you to learn about it through your own process, crisis becoming opportunity,
right, right.
and then so that you can then
I'm gonna
teach
write
your
that
own
down.
clients the same, because I really want to teach people like you how to pass this information along. This is something you can buy in a book at Barnes and Noble, so why
Mhm.
not teach people how to do it with all the skill set that I've been gifted to have received? And
Yes,
it's a lot of fun.
Antoinette is tutoring me on this 5 element. Um, I just want to be tutored on the body and what else am I missing? And actually, 5 elements came into my life about 4 years ago. I actually do a pendulum clearing based on the 5 elements. So I've been aware of it. I was very excited about it. I get amazing results with people through this simple healing, this healing that I do, this technique I do. But I want to know much, much more about that. But that's certainly for another conversation.
Mhm.
And I'm just so grateful that you're in my life because I'm
Mm.
I'm hopefully gonna get all that wisdom, at least as much as I can get. I was
Yeah,
wondering,
you're a great student.
oh, I'm trying. I'm
Mm.
trying. Uh, does Ezekiel have anything to say for us today?
Yes, he would love to come through. Does he
Oh,
have like 5 minutes or so? How
he
long?
has as long as he needs.
Oh my, we won't tell him that
Oh
because
my.
time means nothing to him. He might go on and on. But yes, he'd love to come through and be here with you and all of the lovely beings that follow you and love you. So,
Well, I'm thrilled to hear what he has to say, whatever messages he can give to us to assist us on our journey, this ascension journey, which we are all on. So
yes.
you
Okay.
take it away.
Okay. I am Sequel. I am from another dimension. I am from another time space reality. And it is a delight to see you, dear one. A delight indeed. It is a delight to be with you and to see you and to feel you and to be in the presence of all of the beings who are going to watch this video in your human time space continuum. So, dear one, thank you so much for having me and asking me to come present at this time. I have been watching this transmission. I've been guiding our dear one to share with her some of her most secret and personal tidbits of information so that this could be as entertaining as possible for your watchers and your viewers. Because, dear one, we chose the word entertainment for a reason. Humans are such lovely beings, and they take things so seriously. They are serious students of their lives, and we want them to become serious students of joy, love, and bliss. And how do we take a human who is a serious student of their life's journey and their life's work, that crisis and opportunity and crisis that we asked our dear one to share with you? They take that and turn it into joy and bliss and happiness. How do they do that? Well, they change their mind. And the way we work with humans is to help them change their mind by looking at things differently. And one way you can begin to look at things differently is to realize that your life is like a play. It's there to show you, as if your life were a play right in front of your eyes, all of the thoughts and beliefs you have that are creating your life. So, for example, our dear one, she shared that she had created an eating disorder for herself. So, in that moment, she was revealing to herself that she believed her body was an enemy. So, she decided to go to war with that enemy and create a problem for herself. Well, she nearly took herself out by doing that. Well, this is quite silly indeed. Now we're using the word silly. We realize that you humans, you take this seriously. An eating disorder that would render a being no longer able to live in a body, i.e., they have died, they have crossed over. This is serious stuff in a human world. And it's a crisis in a human world. It's also an opportunity for seeing where the mind is miscreating. This book of universal truths that our dear one spoke of that changed her world, her mind, so that we could come through. This book you call A Course in Miracles. It is filled with universal principles of truth that run universally through universes, through multiverses. These are principles of truth, truth of what love is, truth of how bliss can be achieved, bliss being a state of mind. So you can achieve, you dear humans can achieve a blissful state of mind. It's possible by seeing your creations, laying them in front of you, laying an eating disorder right in front of you, and seeing that miscreation that could nearly take you out is an opportunity to see how much you hate yourself, how much you loathe your body, how much you think that the beauty myth should be played out for humans to live by. Well, of course, none of these things are universal principles of truth. These are egoic constructs that the egoic mind of a human being has believed and created in order to make themselves miserable, in order to make their movie, their play, be more tragic and more sufferable, and to be more in alignment with suffering. And we get it. We meaning me, Zequel, and the guides and teachers who join me when I come through to humans. We all get it. I bring through a stadium full of guides and teachers when I'm working with humans, because you need love. You need light. You need to have your light bodies penetrated with the energy and the frequency of love. And we love you so much. We love you so much. We love you more than you can possibly imagine. We love you and want to help you. We want to help you not create so many tragedies and not be entertained by them, but to instead create joyful experiences, happy moments, blissful states of mind, so that you can feel what we feel on this side of the veil. We want that for you. So we come through this being, the dear being who is interviewing our dear one, we meaning her guides and teachers, come through her. Other guides and teachers come through other channels. We're doing this at this time in order to help you not create so many moments of crisis, and to, if you do create crises, to see them as opportunity. So if you find yourself in a crisis and you notice your mind is taking a little turn and you're actually seeing it a little differently, and you're actually seeing, oh, this could be seen differently. The next scene in this play could be a little different. That's one of us knocking on the door. Say, please come through, guide and teacher. I don't know who you are, but come through to me. Give me some guidance. Help me see this differently. Help me turn this into an opportunity for healing and for growth. Help me to turn this into an opportunity to feel love and joy and to create a happy life and to perhaps even feel and achieve the state of mind of bliss. Ask for that, and it will be given to you because you deserve it, because you're perfect. Don't keep yourself in human jail in your mind. You're guilty of nothing. You're a holy, Holy, and Wholly, holy, innocent child of God, made in pure perfection. Your light body, your light system is a love suit. It's inside that meat suit you're living in. You're not your body. You're not your meat suit. You are your love suit. Love yourself. Turn crisis into opportunity. See things differently. Ask us to come to you and to help you do that. We promise we will come to you. We love you. We love you so much. We're here for you. You're doing so well. You are magnificent beings of light. If you could see who you really are, you would be blown away, as this dear one we're talking to said. Your mind would be blown apart. Your meat suit would blow away, and you would become one with God mind. We love you. Thank you for having me come through to all of you. And we say what we always say at the end of a transmission. Bye for now.
I did it with him.
Oh, good.
Oh, that was just, I mean, the smile, my face is hurting. I just smiled throughout that whole beautiful, beautiful message.
Oh,
Oh my
you.
goodness, how wonderful.
Thank you for the opportunity to bring him
just to
through to
sit
you.
back here and think, what we do, I mean, we're so blessed. I don't know. It's humbling. It's humbling.
It
It
is
really, really
humbling.
is. It's
Yeah,
humbling.
yeah.
So if people want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Well, they could message me on one of two websites. One is friendswithzequel.com and the other one is AntoinetteFiumos.com. And of course, Antoinette Fiumos is really hard to spell. So friends with Zequel. He wants to be friends with as many people as possible.
Mhm.
Um, Zequel is Zequiel. It actually pops up now on the internet, which is amazing. And
Mhm.
or they can contact you if they
Totally
don't
contact me.
know
Absolutely.
how to do
Well,
this.
what I will have is links to those two websites in the description of the video.
Okay.
So
Okay.
all they have to do is just
Oh,
click
perfect.
through to whichever one they want to.
Okay, great.
Well, our little hour is over, and what a beautiful interaction. Thank you, my sweet friend, for your time
My
and your
pleasure.
gifts to humanity and your blessings to all of us. Um, we love
Oh,
you so
gosh.
much.
You are so welcome, and thank you for asking me. This is healing for me too. This is, this is us healing each other, and I
Mhm.
appreciate you so much. I love you very much, and I thank you for asking me to join you.
Likewise. Likewise, you know that. All
Yeah.
right, my friends, thank you for sticking around to the end. All of you, beautiful people. If you support my work, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this channel. There are hundreds of videos that I've put together over the past 4 years, hundreds and hundreds of them. And if you need me, you can also find me at my website, AnneMarieTheArtOfHealing.com. Thank you, and until later.